All right, this video is all about the 3 core principles of building a brand with AI. Again, that's the 3 core principles. 3 things you must have in mind when you are building a brand with AI. So let's jump right in. Number 1, authenticity over automation. So obviously AI can do a lot of things for you. It can automate a ton of your process when you're building your brand, right? Everything from content writing and creation to research to creating graphics and all the assets that need to go out into the marketplace. Even the way you deliver and distribute your content and your advertising and all of your marketing into the market, that can all be automated very quickly and easily with a lot of AI built into that and all the tools you're using. But what I would encourage you to do is think about placing the authenticity of your brand over and above the automation. Sometimes we get so caught up in all the ways that we can make the process more efficient, make it faster, right? That we kind of lose the fact that the authenticity, the realness, the trueness of our brand is really what connects with people. So while it's really important that we create efficiency and that we're getting our marketing out as fast and as decent amount, a good quantity, right? We want to make sure that authentic, real, true aspects of our brands are coming forward above that in our process and in our strategy. So just some things to think about under this one. Like one is try not to overly rely on AI for really brand critical tasks. So if you think about what are some really important tasks to you and your brand, are we leveraging AI too much in those? Are we not leveraging really smart human creativity in this process for those brand critical tasks? So just an example would be like your logo. Your logo is a really important brand critical task, whether you're creating it or using it. So just be careful of when you're using AI, or maybe you're putting together some verbal guidelines that are going to drive how you communicate for the next 5, 10, or maybe even 20 years of your business and creating your brand with your content. Those guidelines maybe are assisted by AI, but you're not maybe outsourcing it completely to an AI tool. So just being really careful in those brand critical tasks and those points in the relationship building process with potential customers and other stakeholders that you're trying to draw in with your brand, making sure that those brand critical aspects are not being overutilized with AI involved in them to where you're losing the authenticity in that process. You also want to make sure that you're maintaining a personal touch, right? Your brand needs to feel like a person at some level. It needs to connect with people. And so it does need to feel personal to them. If you're over relying on AI, you're going to lose some of that authenticity of the personal connection. So making sure at every touch point, you're still layering in a personal touch, which is probably going to require some level of human touch. Doesn't necessarily mean that a human has to interact with your customer or interact with a stakeholder in that brand interaction, but the people behind it who are creating it, right, need to be involved. And it can't just be purely AI who's doing all of the creative process from start to finish. And then also underneath authenticity over automation, want to make sure that we're really preserving the unique brand voice that you've created for your brand. Hopefully you have one. But you're really thinking through hey, we have a particular voice. We have a particular personality that we bring to the table with our brand. Make sure that you're utilizing that. And AI can actually be a great assistant in taking those guidelines that you've created around your personality and applying them in the creative process. So again, this was authenticity over automation. That's really the first thing you need to know. You need to have in mind when you're using AI to build your brand. All right, let's look at the second reason. The second is strategic implementation. So this is the principle or the guideline to help you as you're thinking about how do I use AI really effectively in building my brand without losing the soul of my brand, right? And part of that is strategic implementation. So what do I mean by this? I mean that you need to apply thinking. You cannot just outsource your entire plan with an AI tool or a series of AI tools. They can certainly be very involved, but you need to apply human thinking, actual human ideas, human generated creativity into how you develop a strategy and then implement it into the marketplace to build your brand. So again, think of AI as like a support tool or an assistant, or I like to think of it a lot of times as an intern, because I think for a lot of AI tools, that's about the highest quality you're going to get out of it. Someone with very little experience, right? No real depth of knowledge or understanding within your industry, and it's certainly not within your business, but who can help you with a lot of tasks that maybe are a little bit harder for you to do because you've got a lot of demands on your time or are just repetitive, right? And using AI to do things like, hey, I want to go research a lot of information very quickly. AI is fantastic for that. Will it be really deep research? Probably not, right? But it's going to be high quantity research. So just utilizing AI the right way and not letting it become too much of creating the strategy of your brand. That also means like maintaining some level of human control over the process, having humans involved as you're thinking through your process of building a brand and then putting that brand out into the marketplace. Human beings do need to be involved in that, and they need to give oversight to AI. Doesn't mean that you can't have AI involved, but again, you're not giving over AI all of the control. And then thirdly, underneath this one would be focusing on quality over quantity. The temptation with AI is always, well, it can do a lot, so I'm just going to have AI tools just generate lots and lots of content, lots and lots of marketing, lots and lots of assets for me, lots and lots of interactions. But the reality is, like, it's not going to be high quality enough probably to meet your brand standards. So going back to your brand standards, what is really high quality for us? Where do we draw the line on that? And really making sure that we're training AI tools to think like us as much as possible and to execute at our level of brand authenticity. Don't settle for something less. You're really going to create impact in the marketplace if you can really be as truly authentic as possible while still using AI tools. All right, let's think about the third guideline for how you use AI in brand building and marketing. The third is content creation process. So whether that's written content or that's visual content that you're putting out, visual assets you're putting out, you really need to have a process developed for it. You can't just kind of freewheel it. And if you do have a process, it makes plugging AI into that process much, much easier. It also ensures that number one and number two are happening, and you're not kind of losing your soul of your brand in the process of integrating AI into it. So again, think about things like, hey, part of our process is understanding where we're trying to go. What are our goals? What are our objectives? Let those be human-generated objectives, not AI-generated objectives. Only you know what your brand needs to accomplish. Only you know what the vision is. So really impart that to AI, not letting AI impart that to you. And then also, like, using AI appropriately. It's a great research tool. It's a great tool for iterative processes of like, hey, give me lots and lots of ideas all at once. But then layering in humans into that approach. So editing, sifting through, creating connections of ideas, and really generating the best possible outcomes and quality of your marketing really needs to be generated from humans on top of AI, not just outsourcing the whole process to AI. Yeah, and then just really making sure that, again, humans are giving oversight in all of this, that there's human control within your content creation process. So as you're thinking about putting your brand out into the marketplace, as you think about creating assets, creating content, as you think about creating relationships with stakeholders like potential customers in this process, as you think about creating ads and campaigns, be thinking about how these three guidelines can really drive how you use AI in that process in a way that you don't lose the soul of your brand and instead are actually amplifying it. So again, those are authenticity over automation. And number two, strategic implementation. And number three, content creation process. So as you're implementing these, I'd love to hear what you're thinking. How are you using AI in your brand building and in your marketing? Drop some comments in the comments section, and then definitely like and subscribe. We'd love to continue to give you some really amazing content like this video here, to help you in your marketing and in the brand building that you are trying to execute in your brand as you bring it to market and try to get in front of your ideal clients and customers.